Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Stephanie Lopez.
And I'm Rosanna Siracusa.
A United States citizen who was held captive in North Korea is back home this morning. Jeffrey Pfau was detained in North Korea for 5 months for leaving a Bible open in his hotel room. Pfau's lawyer, Tim Teep, said Pfau and his family, who are seen to the left, were overjoyed at his return.
Although we are overjoyed by Jeff's return home, we are mindful that Kenneth Bay and Matthew Miller continue to be detained in the DPRK.
There's still no progress made on the other two American citizens being detained, Kenneth Bay and Matthew Miller. Pfau said he is thankful to be home, but needs some time to readjust to being back.
Parliament Hill in Ottawa is under lockdown today after multiple shooting incidents this morning. Authorities say there is one confirmed shooter who has been killed, and there may be one more shooter still out there.
Well, we were working on the statue and heard a bunch of pops. I thought it was just firecrackers going off, so I look across the street and there was a man with a rifle shooting at a bunch of people.
It started this morning with a soldier being shot at the National War Memorial right next to Parliament. After, the gunfire continued in the main hall of the Parliament building and then in the hall in front of Parliament's library. The police then began firing on the shooter. When all the shooting stopped, there was a body lying in front of the library. The soldier who was shot at the memorial has been declared dead. Canadian authorities have requested assistance from the FBI and other various U.S. law enforcement agencies. U.S. officials told CNN that a connection to terrorism has not been ruled out.
Lawmakers in Iraq's Kurdish region are sending Kurdish fighters to help defend Kobani in Syria. The vote comes after Turkey said it would allow Iraqi Kurdish fighters to go through Turkey to get to Syria. A video of members of ISIS seizing some parts of weapon airdrops that the U.S. sent to Kurdish fighters sparked this decision. This was the first time the U.S. airdropped weapons for Kurds. Weapons included grenades, ammunition, and grenade launchers. Kurds officials say Iraqi forces will provide weapons for the Kurdish fighters, but didn't say what kind. The number of fighters that will be sent through Turkey to support Kurds is still unknown.
An Indiana man has admitted to being involved in the deaths of at least 7 women. Dion Vaughn has only been arrested in connection with the death of 19-year-old Africa Hardy. Van led authorities to 6 other bodies now being investigated. Hammond Police Chief John Dowdy stopped short of calling him a serial killer, but says the police are leaving the possibility open. Van has a previous criminal record and also is a registered sex offender.
The need for democracy in Hong Kong leads to a 2-hour meeting between Hong Kong students and government officials. After more than 3 weeks of pro-democracy demonstrations, the meeting highlights the generational and political divide. The protesters want Hong Kong's government to abandon a requirement to screen candidates for the 2017 inaugural elections. Protesters say they will keep occupying the protest zones despite 3 court injunctions.
A new study says internet harassment is on the rise. Matador News reporter Ericka Sims is live in the newsroom with more.
A new study from Pew Research Center says 40% of people experience harassment online. One CSUN student was surprised by these findings.
Get harassed, 4 out of 10 actually.
See, I'm kind of shocked because, see, where I'm from, I thought it would be more. You feel me? I thought it would be like, you know, every 9 out of 10 people, but that's how I feel.
The study also says about 80% of people found internet harassment to be upsetting. Some CSUN students say online harassment needs to be taken more seriously.
I feel like people should pay more attention to it because people pay attention to harassment, but it's usually in person, and sometimes they ignore harassment that can happen online.
Pew also found 9 out of 10 people say the internet allows people to be more critical of people than they would be offline. Back to you guys in the studio.
Getting into a UC might be getting tougher for out-of-state students. Many California parents are concerned that the increased admissions of out-of-state students has limited the chances for their children. The UC started recruiting out-of-state students to help with budget cuts after the 2009 recession. UC campuses now depend on $23,000 in tuitions from non-Californians. California residents pay the standard of $12,000. California Senator Jean Fuller says even though she likes the diversity out-of-state students bring, the same goal can be accomplished by recruiting in the Central Valley.
Former Washington Post editor Ben Bradlee has died. He was the executive editor of the Washington Post from 1968 to 1991. During the time, the paper covered the downfall of President Richard Nixon and the Watergate scandal. Bradlee began end-of-life care at his home last month after suffering from Alzheimer's disease and dementia for several years.
Tomorrow will be the fourth and final eclipse of the year. Most of North America will be able to see the partial solar eclipse. The eclipse will start near eastern Russia, but best viewed will be in the U.S. Northwest and northern Canada. The eclipse will occur near sunset. If you want to see the eclipse, officials urge you to wear filter glasses to protect your eyes.
Now let's go to Jonathan Gripe for health.
An American TV news cameraman has been declared Ebola-free. Ashoka Michaud has been allowed to leave his biocontainment at a Nebraska hospital today, where he has been for 3 weeks. He is now the 5th patient transported from West Africa to recover from Ebola in the U.S. Nebraska Medical Center says that tests show Michaud is now free of the virus. Michaud contracted the virus while working in Liberia as a freelance cameraman for NBC and other media outlets. Johnson & Johnson says it will begin testing an Ebola virus vaccine in humans starting in January. If health authorities deem it safe and promising, then 250,000 doses will be available as early as May. The drug giant's vaccine proved safe and protective against the virus during testing in monkeys, and the company's chief scientist says this is a strong sign that the vaccine could work on humans. There is currently no approved vaccine against Ebola. Benefits provided by Obamacare vary depending on where you live. University of Pennsylvania researchers say the healthcare program always covers hospitalization, prescription drugs, and maternity, but each state is allowed to select a benchmark plan to serve as a model for what other plans in the state must cover. Only 5 states cover weight loss programs, while 23 cover a far more expensive obesity treatment. And if you want your Obamacare plan to cover acupuncture, then California is the place to be. Some benefits will remain essential in some states and not essential in others. Now let's go to Jasmine Dalton for business.
Social Security benefits will increase by 1.7% in 2015. Starting in January, more than 58 million recipients will receive an average of $22 more every month. This increase is tied to the government's measure of inflation. But experts say that despite the increase, seniors are still facing challenges in paying for grocery and utility bills. The Social Security Administration also announced Social Security taxes would increase from $117,000 to $118,000 based on the increase in average wages. Staples has contacted law enforcement to investigate issues with credit card fraud. The Massachusetts-based company confirmed the security breach late last night. U.S. Secret Service says it's assisting Staples with the breach. The company tells customers that they are not responsible for any fraudulent activity on their credit cards if reported quickly. The new Apple Pay app used to charge purchases through iPhones has been double charging some customers. At least one user logged in and checked his debit card bill and found that he has been charged twice for his purchases. Other Bank of America Apple Pay users have used social media to complain about similar problems. Bank of America says it's Apple Pay's problem and they'll refund the difference. Apple says they'll fix it. Now let's go to Jonathan Gripe for sports.
Game 2 of the World Series will be played tonight in Kansas City, with the Giants leading the series 1-0. The Giants were victorious last night after Royals starter James Shields got into some trouble early. The Giants scored the first run of the game in the top of the first inning, coming off the bat of third baseman Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval's double scored Gregor Blanco, and after Buster Posey was thrown out at home on the play, the Giants were leading 1-0. The next batter was right fielder Hunter Pence.
In the air to center, well hit, came back, over his head, and gone!
Pence's 2-run shot increased the Giants' lead 3-0. Behind a great pitching effort by Giants starter Madison Bumgarner, they went on to win with the final score of 7-1. Game 2 tonight will begin at 5 o'clock and can be seen on Fox. NFL running back Ray Rice, who was suspended indefinitely back in September from the league, could be reinstated as early as the beginning of November. Rice was appealing his suspension after video became public of him punching his now wife Juaneeq Rice in a casino elevator. An appeal hearing date has been set to begin on November 5th. He's able to make his case and be able to prove that he's done his time and should no longer be suspended by the NFL. He might be able to return, but the Ravens have released him after he was suspended. If he were to sign with another team, that would be possible and they would be able to pick up his contract. Experts say teams like the Colts or the Patriots could be interested in signing Rice if he's able to return, but so far no NFL team has said whether they would consider bringing Rice back on the field this season. Now back to Jasmine Dalton for entertainment.
Legendary fashion designer Oscar de la Renta has died at the age of 82. De la Renta dressed every First Lady since Jackie Kennedy to celebrities including George Clooney's bride, Amal Alamuddin. Former First Lady Laura Bush remembers De La Renta as a man who made women look and feel beautiful. The cause of his death is currently unknown. He was diagnosed in 2006 with cancer, but as of last year, he was clean. The Avengers 2 trailer will debut next week on the TV show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, The Incredible Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye must battle to save the planet from destruction at the hands of the villain, Ultron. Comic-Con attendees were treated to a reel of the sequel this past summer in San Diego. Goodfellas actor Frank Severo has filed a lawsuit against the creators of The Simpsons. Severo is asking for $250 million for the ripping off of the character played in the 1990 film. He says producer James L. Brooks created a Simpsons character, Louie, based on his character in Goodfellas. The lawsuit claims that since the rip-off character's first appearance, The Simpsons have generated around $12 billion in total revenue through TV, movie, video games, and more, while Severo has suffered severe financial damages. Hillary Clinton may be the national front-runner, but fewer women than ever are going into local politics. Live from the newsroom is Juaneeq Elliott.
The number of women in Los Angeles politics has declined dramatically over the years. CSUN political science professor Kristy Michaud is the director of the CSUN Center for Southern California Studies. She is currently organizing an event that features 3 former LA City Council members speaking about their experiences: Joy Pikes, Wendy Gruhl, and Nuri Martinez.
There's a decline in the number of women in Los Angeles politics. When Joy Pikes served on the city council, there were 6 other women serving at some point during her tenure on the council. By the time Wendy Gruhl was elected, she only served with, I believe, only 2 other women. And now Nuri Martinez is the only woman on the city council.
The event will be held Thursday, November 6th at the Jack and Florence Furman Presentation Room in the Oviatt Library from 6 to 8 evening. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Rosanna Siracusa.
And I'm Stephanie Lopez.
Have a great day.